Okay. So I started recording because I knew I would forget. It's been such a crazy day.
Yeah.
Oh, Dr. Ian, have you heard about the new book that's out called A Man Called Horse?
I've heard of it. I have not seen it.
Okay, we received a copy from the author and she thanks you in the back. So
Who
I feel like you should, Glennette Tilly Turner.
Hey, listen, I'm nearly 80 years old. My memory is legit. So,
Well, we'll make sure you get a copy. Yeah, because I was going to the acknowledgements and I was like, hey. So,
well, all right.
Yeah.
That's
But
good.
she mentions you as that she had, I think she talked to you, but I think she's been working on this book for a while. Yeah.
You probably did. People talk to me all the time about all kinds of stuff, and I retain bits.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And this was back in 2018 when she started it, or when she at least came to Bracket. And it took till now for it to be published. So it's been a while.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Did you read the book yet?
I haven't read it yet, but it's very short. So I could sit down and read it in a couple of minutes. It's for young adults, for children, I think 10 to 14.
Oh.
So it's giving them an introduction to John Horse.
Those are good and bad.
Mm-hmm.
You know, Black heroes, Native American heroes.
Yeah.
But if you abbreviate the history, you don't get the real history.
You don't get yeah.
No, but it's good. It's
a good place to start. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I was happy to see your name in there.
Where's the picture of Phil?
Mr. Phil, do you know how to turn on your camera?
Can they hear you?
I don't know.
Talk to them.
Hey, Wendy, can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you.
Can you see me?
No, I can't see you.
Okay. Well.
But you're on. That's the most important thing.
I'm trying, yeah. What do you see, Wendy? You don't see me? Do you see a square?
Yeah, it's just a little face. It's like the shape of a person. It's a square and sort of like an oblong.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah, we need to set up your camera before they can see you.
Okay, my camera's not set up. It's new.
Oh.
I just got
Oh, that's fine. Yeah, at least you're on. That's the most important thing.
Yeah. And you're Mr. Phil?
Yes.
Oh, hi. Hi, I'm Bertha. Can't see me, but hi.
And then Dr. Ian is on as well. And have y'all met? I don't think y'all have met.
No.
Oh, I know Phil because he gave us some beautiful beadwork some years
Oh,
back,
wow.
which I still have.
Amazing.
Yeah.
And Miss Bertha, I don't think you've met her.
No, hey, Miss Bertha.
Hi, how are you?
I'm fine. I'm following the lessons.
I'm sorry?
Are you following the Seminole lessons?
I haven't. Just get all information and get on it, but no, I haven't yet.
So you're just jumping in.
Yes.
All right. It's not too late. It's not too late.
Yeah.
You're Seminole, right?
Yes, I am.
We have to know the language of your forefathers
I know the language.
or mothers.
I know the language. That I know. Not that good about the history, but I know the language. Yeah. Yeah.
Where is Miguel?
Gabriel?
Gabriel.
Yes. Well, I haven't heard from him. Let me remind him.
Yeah.
Let me see. He's about to become a father. And the last time I was talking with him, he said, baby's due any day. The actual date is October 19th, but he or she is already in position. So hopefully.
That is no excuse for a Seminole.
I know, right? Gonna say you can Zoom from the emergency room.
Let's get our
Let me
priorities
check and
right.
see.
get your account set up.
Phil?
Can you hear me, sir?
Yeah. Okay.
Dr. What's the name? I'm sorry.
Dr. Ian.
Yeah.
Dr. Ian. Ah, okay.
Oh, shoot.
Okay.
Bertha was asking what your name was.
Oh, okay. It's Ian.
I got it. I knew it, but I just remember right off.
It's only
Yeah.
you call me Dr. Ian.
Dr. Ian. Yeah, I'm the one that got your number, and I appreciate you sharing your number with me. Yeah. I might call you sometime
Can you
about some.
reach out to Amadou? Because he said he was going
Sorry?
to be here.
Oh, I haven't talked to Amadou either. Let me text him real quick.
Because we were supposed to be there in
Yes,
Yeah.
in bracket.
I know.
Yeah.
I'm so unhappy.
Okay, let me text him real quick.
Yeah, I'm the one you so graciously let when you give me your number. I appreciate it. I'd like to call you sometime. Because the language, that question or something. Because the language, like I said, I do know the language. So I just want, if there's something I have a question about, give you a call.
Maybe your mic's not working.
Okay, so Amadou said yes.
Okay.
So he should be joining.
Very good.
Is the mic working?
The mic, yeah, I can hear.
Okay.
Okay then.
Okay, so it's gonna be.
Amadou is my running buddy.
Yes.
Yeah,
For now.
maybe he
And-
has you muted.
And Gabriel is texting me now. So let's see. Okay.
He either has you muted or maybe he just doesn't want to respond.
First
Okay,
of all,
Gabriel won't be able to join today.
okay. We wish him all the best.
Yes, yeah.
Yeah, we need to set you up an account.
Okay.
Okay, we had someone else join.
Amadou.
Yeah. Amadou joined.
Oh, and Miss Dennis Vasquez Welch just joined.
It's Denise.
Oh, I'm sorry, Denise. I've always said your name, Dennis.
Yeah,
I
everybody
am
does.
so
It's Denise.
sorry. Denise.
Yeah.
It's nice to finally hear your voice, and thank you so much for joining.
Well, thank you. Yes, I'm glad I was able to get on.
Yeah.
I'm ready to learn. Let's. Yeah, right.
Yes.
Hello, Denise.
Hello, how are you?
I'm fine. My wife named Denise.
Oh, really? Oh, she's got a fabulous name.
I know.
She does. She does. When I was growing up in England, we didn't pronounce it Denise. We would say Denise, like with a Z.
Denise. Oh, wow.
Oh, with a Z. Okay, that's interesting.
Denise. Yeah. Anyway, who's ready for lessons?
I am.
Yeah.
Let's
too.
go.
Bertha. There's Bertha
I
over
am.
here. You there?
Yes, I'm here.
Phil, you there?
I think he put himself on mute.
Yeah.
As long as you can
There
hear.
it is. I know.
All right, let's get into it. You should
Okay.
have session 3 in front of you. What I really want you to do when you get these lessons through emails is to print them out and save them so that you've got them in your hand right now. And we're looking at session 3. And I'm just going to read through it, but make comments as I go. because although we have a lot of people on the listserv, we are not getting a lot of feedback from anybody. Only one or two people ask questions about the lessons, which either means they are totally confident with what they're learning, which I don't believe, or they're a little bit shy. So don't be shy. And I'm going to go through session 3, and I hope you have in front of you. If you don't have a paper copy in front of you, pull it up on your computer, and I'm going to go through it now. I start by saying by now you should have some idea of how Seminole works as a language. Y'all already speak English, some of you speak Spanish, and some of you speak other things, but you're getting a handle on Seminole, which is a little bit different, but you should be getting an idea of what sort of language it is. The first thing you're going to notice about it is that it has most of its words that match the same in English. But this is not a good way to proceed. First of all, some of the words in Seminole, which do in fact come from English, but they come from English from 400 years ago. English doesn't even still have them, but Seminole does. Secondly, they're not pronounced the same. And thirdly, they don't always mean the same that they mean in English. So the way to deal with Seminole and other Creole languages like Seminole is to treat it as a completely different language. Don't think of it as some sort of weird English, or you just got to take English and fix it in some way. No, leave that out, and you'll proceed much more easily. And your brain can do that. Your brain can sort this out and make 2 separate compartments in your brain, one for English, one for Seminole. All right, moving on. One thing I did was ask you to start making substitutions in the English that you speak that do match Seminole grammar. So for example, where you say to do something in English, start saying to yourself or to your partner, "f." Instead of saying, I want to dance, say, I want "f" dance, and get into the habit of doing that. The other thing you should be doing, and some of you may be doing this already, English shows the grammar with endings on words that you can change. You can take them off and put a different ending on there. And Seminole doesn't do that. Seminole doesn't use endings to show grammar. It uses separate words because it's a Creole. So where you would say in English, I run, with nothing on the end, but he or she runs with an S on the end, forget about the S, leave the S off. It's good in English. You leave it off in English, you're gonna get, the teacher gonna mark you wrong. But if you're speaking Seminole and you put an S on the end, you're gonna get marked wrong because that's not Seminole. So these are what you should be trying to do on your own, always with another person if possible. If not an actual person in the flesh, then a friend on email. You could write this stuff very easily. But do try to develop a sense of how to express yourself in a different language that only has in common with English the fact that they share a lot of words. Once you've been able to separate those 2 things, you're on your way. Okay. Same with the past tense. I gave you the example of I run, he runs with an S. Same thing with past tense. I worked, he worked. Leave that off. Just say I work, he worked. Now, some of you also are familiar with African American varieties of English, which also has its own separate grammar. Although it's way closer to English than Seminole is, it does a lot of the same things. It leaves off endings, so you can say I run, he run. But it also has a few things that it has inherited from Creole. And this is kind of interesting. The one I'm thinking of is done. I done told you. Now that's not only African American. You done broke it. Everybody's familiar with that. As an American English construction, we associate it with the South, but we associate it not only with African Americans, but with white Americans too. White Southerners use done, but that is not a construction that was brought over from England. It's a construction that white speakers in the South got from Black Creole speakers in the South. So done really belongs to Seminole and African American English more than it belongs to general white Southern English. That's something worth keeping in mind. Okay, moving on. Seminole has rules. It's not sloppy English. It's not sloppy anything. It's quite easy to speak it incorrectly. It has rules. You can speak it well and you can speak it badly, just like you can speak English well or badly. Keep that in mind. Okay. Moving on to the next paragraph, I mention what are called loan words because they're on loan. This is not the best. This is what linguists use. Means if you take a word in from a foreign language, it's a loan word. I've always argued that these words are not on loan. You're not going to give them back. You keep them. So they are adopted words. And because Seminole began maybe 400 years ago, it doesn't have modern words like computer, or sushi, or astroturf, because none of those words existed even in English that long ago. So today, if you are speaking Seminole and you want to talk about a ball game and you want to talk about astroturf, you're going to have to say astroturf. And that's perfectly normal. When English speakers learned about Japanese food, they didn't have a word for sushi. So they started to say sushi. That is perfectly normal. However, when you are speaking Seminole, do try to stick to the deepest, broadest kind of Seminole that you're able to speak and not be lazy and just stick English words if you know there is a Seminole word too. Okay. In session 3, I come back to looking at verbs. And verbs really are the core of the grammar of Seminole. And these lessons, and we've got a bunch more of them. We've got, what, Wendy, a year full? We've got to go through 12. We're up to number 3. So there's going to be a lot of repetition. And that's good. That's how you learn. And I'm looking at the verbs. And I'm going to tell you stuff you already know, and I'm going to repeat it because that's going to make it stick. When we are speaking English and use a verb, we are referring, if it's just the verb by itself, to what's happening right now. For the most part, it means what's happening right now. So I see you would mean I see you right now, looking at you, and I see you. Creole grammars, Seminole grammar, doesn't deal with when things happen so much as how they happen. The word for when is tense, which means time, but the word for how is called aspect, and that is more important in Creole grammar. So we want to know what is how the action is taking place. So if I say I see you, it means in English, I'm looking at you right now. If you say that in Seminole, it doesn't mean I see you right now, it means I saw you, because it's something you've already understood. It must have happened, it must have existed. So the seeing part is something that's already in the past, it's already happened, and you're applying it now. But the way you show that you're applying it now in Seminole is to stick the word "duh" in front of it. So in English, you'd say, I see you, if it's happening right now. But in Seminole, you'd have to say, I duh see you, because it's happening at this very moment. If you wanted to say, I saw you, something before, then you've got to show that by sticking in a different word, which has been, I've been see you. So you leave the see, you don't change anything like that. You show the grammar, not by changing see to saw, but by sticking in the new word been, I've been see you. And I was talking about done just now. If it's something that's over with, you're not doing it anymore, it's a done deal, you use that word done. I done see you, which means it's finished with. You can combine these little words to make a bit more complicated things. I think I should come back to this a bit later on, but I could combine the been and done together, in at least in Seminole, and say, I've been done see you, which wouldn't mean I have seen you and it's completely over with, but it would mean I've been done see you. I had finished seeing you at a particular time in the past. There's a little slight difference there. Don't worry about it if you can't really see the difference. We'll come back to it, because what we're going to do a lot more when the grammar's out of the way is go through little stories. And so when we hit a grammar question in a story, then I'll stop and explain it. Okay, I'm still on page 1. Let's look at some more verbs. Remember that with Seminole, there is no distinction of male and female with the pronouns. So the word he means him, her, he, she, his, her, all the sexes, all the genders. So he to sing means he is singing, or she is singing, or even it is singing, just he. Remember that. A reminder that there is no S you stick on the end for a plural of a noun. If you want to make a noun plural, you just use the word then after the noun. So book is book, but book then is books. Okay, Let's see. I'm going to skip down to partway down page 2, where I'm just going over all of the different verb things to do. You've got most of them, but these are reminders. And please keep practicing either all by yourself or with a friend, but do keep practicing. Done, I talked about. We done cooked the corn. We have finished cooking the corn. But you can put the done at the end also, which you can't do in English, but you could say the corn cooked done, which means the cook is finished being cooked. I don't cook the corn, the cook corn done. Hear the difference? One would match English, but the second one certainly would not. I think I introduced Nusfa. Nusfa is just like used to. So I use for dua, but it's news, not used to, but Nusfa with an N on the front. That's from the African pronunciation of certain words. We make it like that. I used to talk Seminole. I used to talk Seminole. Another talker no more. I don't talk it anymore. And I used to talk now. I don't talk it anymore. Here's one I don't think I've introduced yet, which is study. Study or studied means to be doing something repeatedly. He studied a wok punny cooking or whatever he's doing. Studied means to keep on doing something. He studied the Jajapami. She keeps on nagging at me. Not talking about Depon. Depon means to be engaged in something. You depend fool means you are just steady being an idiot. You depend fool. Why are you acting the fool? I depend to cook the fish. I am busy engaged in cooking the fish. So depend is very common in Seminole. Need to commit that to memory. Now, I do say on here, don't confuse studied and depend. Studied means that you are doing it repeatedly now, but not, well, this is complicated. He studied the duum means he does it repeatedly, but he may not be doing it right now, but it's something he keeps on doing. He depend de duum would mean that's what he's doing right now. Don't interrupt him, don't disturb him, depend de duum. I do come back to fa. Fa is a very important word in Seminole grammar. It means two, and I already started out by saying say fa instead of two. I want for duum, but it also means must. If you just use it by itself, it means must. So you fa duum means you gotta do it. You could also, instead of you for duum, say you have to duum, but it means the same thing. You have to duum, you for duum. I get for I have to go there means I really must go there. Then I start to talk about combining these different words. I kind of already brought that up with the been and the done a minute ago. I've been done doing means I finished doing it sometime before. I duum. N, remember, is the future. I know some of y'all forgot that, but N means will. So N duum, it means I will do it. But you could say I am done duum, which means I will have done did it. I will have done finished doing whatever it was. So you put them together. Okay. I'm going to run through these sentences. These are just repetitions of sentences, and you should be able to understand all of them by now. I've been to duum. I was doing it. I am the duum. I will be doing it. That's N and D together. I've been done duum. I had already done it. I've been done the duum. I had already been doing it because the d is in there. I'm done duum. I will have done did it. And here they all are with the negative. Very important. So eyes down here. The negative is not. It's where it goes and how it behaves. It's all pretty straightforward. Anadrapa. I didn't drop it. Anabin drapam. I didn't drop it. Another drapam. I'm not dropping it. Anan used for talk Seminole. I didn't use to talk Seminole. Anan used for the talk Seminole. I didn't use to be talking Seminole. Dembo na study the Jabakong. Dembo is not, does not keep on nagging at me. You not study the Jabakong. Me brother not depend the halapang children there. My brother is not engaged in, involved in shouting at his kids. Give me peace now. Kanana depa fool. Give me a break. Don't be acting the fool. Now that na is ambiguous actually, because it could be Hana na depa fool could mean you are not acting a fool. But na also means don't. And here it depends on the emphasis of your voice. So I could say, Hana na depan fool, and that would mean y'all are not acting the fool. But if I said, Hana na depan fool, that would mean y'all stop acting the fool. Can you hear the difference? Hana na depan fool, Hana na depan fool. Okay. You know, Daragyaw Nashona Puri. Daragyaw Nashona Puri. That girl certainly is not good looking. Shona Puri. And the answer is going to be no, mi brother. No, my brother. You put it. She is fine. You know, I'm favor me mother-in-law. She's fine. She don't want to look like my mother-in-law. Favor means to resemble, and you may, or your grandparents may have said favor in English to mean the same thing. You favor your auntie, right? But in Seminole, it's favor. You not study the duum. He or she isn't busy doing whatever it is. You not dip on the duum. She's not doing it right now. I'm not ready for sleep. I'm not ready to go to sleep. We not for sit down. We must not sit down. Remember that na fa means must as well as to. So nafa means mustn't or shouldn't. Anabinduam, I didn't do it. Anenduam. Now, nen is a contraction. There's a lot of contractions in Seminole, but nen is na plus n, which is future. So nen means will not. Anenduam is a na en duam. I not will do it. Anabinduam, I wasn't doing it. And then done doing, I hadn't finished doing it. And then done doing, I'm not going to be done doing it, and so on. Now, one little difference with the negative and done, you cannot say na plus done. If you say I'm not done doing, that is bad grammar. Na plus done becomes naba. Anaba do it, do it. Anaba do it. Okay. Okay, we're getting there. Oh, well, we're on the last page. And I hope y'all are looking at this because there is a beautiful picture of a martyr. It is the mortar that is in the cultural center in Brackett. And if you look at that picture, you'll see that the mortar stick, which in English is a pestle, actually has two sides. They're not all like that, but when you get a mortar stick which has two sides, it means that two people at once can be tossing it up and bringing it down to smash the corn or rice or whatever's in there. And this is one of the cultural inheritances that make the Seminoles unique, because Afro-Seminoles also are so much Indo-Seminoles as well. So the culture has inherited African and Native American aspects, as well as, especially over here, Mexican attributes as well into the culture. So this is what makes the Afro-Seminoles different from the Gullers on the East Coast, because they don't have all of this extra enrichment in the culture. So when we're looking at the mortar, which is made out of a hollowed out log, this is African, absolutely it's African, but it's also Native American, and the native tribes in Texas used this. But there are a couple of other things, and I put some pictures in there, and we have to be careful of the different names, because it's easy to talk about a mortar and a pestle and a mortar, and you can go to the fancy stores in the mall and buy these things now. But a mortar and a pestle is not the same as a grindstone, and they have different names in Seminole. So the mata that's made of wood is a ud mata, and ud means wood, obviously. And the pestle is a mata tick. It's the stick, wood that you use to mash down whatever it is you're grinding down. The actual stone mortar is called a molcajete, and a molcajete is just a little bowl which you can hold with a stone pestle, and you can grind around with your hand. Some of those in earlier times were not little bowls that you could hold in your hand. They were holes dug into a flat rock where you would put the grains and what have you into a hole in the rock and grind them down that way. But the other thing that you will see in Seminole, traditional Seminole food, is a matata. And a matata is not a mortar, it's a flat stone with a rolling stone that you can put your grains and what have you on top of the stone and roll back and forth and crush it that way. So there are different ways of preparing food. And now all of y'all got blenders in your fancy kitchens, but that's what people used to use. And in some places people still do. And I think that brings us to the end of today. I'm going to send out lesson 4. And I'm praying that the next time we meet a month from now, I'm going to get a whole bunch of questions and feedback and people getting in there and asking questions in Seminole and so on. So in the time we have left, Wendy, are any people coming up with questions?
There, I was trying to unmute myself. The feedback that I've been getting has been, like you were saying, we sent out the email to about 53 people who are on the list. And we get feedback from maybe about 3 or 4 people. A lot of people want the recordings after the Zoom call.
Mm-hmm.
So I think, and maybe everybody else on the call can chime in, maybe Saturdays aren't the best days.
Probably not.
So maybe we should move it to another day or even another time on Saturday where more people can participate. But I think we settled on Saturday because Juneteenth happens on a Saturday. Today is Seminole Days, Saturday. So if we had all met, we would have been meeting at the school for this lesson.
Right.
So it just kind of made sense to keep going with Saturdays. But
you're recording these today sessions,
yes,
right?
Yes, they're all being recorded.
And sending them out to 50.
Yes. But it would be great to have more people on in real time just to get more, feedback. So, for everybody that's on right now, do Saturdays work for you guys, or would it be better to look at another day that's a little more, maybe a slower day, because Saturdays people are out and about. So.
Well, if you're recording it, it really doesn't matter, does it?
Yeah.
But for the follow-up sessions a month from now,
Mm-hmm.
be nicer to have more people on at the moment.
Yeah, that's the thing. And so that we can get more feedback, because I'm sure everybody has questions as they're getting the lessons. So it would be great to speak to you in real time, when they have questions.
I want this more than anything not to be an academic exercise.
Yeah.
It has to be a way to evoke curiosity and an effort to try and talk this. Don't feel embarrassed.
Yeah.
It's how your ancestors spoke every single day.
Yeah.
And it would be such a shame to lose this precious thing.
Yeah. And, and I think the Zoom hurdle has been a big one,
Mm-hmm.
just getting people on Zoom. And I'm just hoping that, very soon we will be able to meet in a different way, because maybe that's holding some of our elders back is, getting on the computer and doing all of that. But right now, this is, the best way to do it.
Let's do this right now. And in the next send out that you do,
Mm-hmm.
get people to commit to showing up, ideally in person, but if not, electronically.
Mm-hmm.
A year from now, in bracket, and everybody gonna be talking Seminole.
That would be awesome. Yeah.
I know that Amadou will do it.
Yes.
I know that Phil will do it. But let's see how
Yeah.
the other rest would do.
Yeah. So let me ask everybody else, Miss Bertha, does Saturday work for you? How is it? Or is there another day that you think would work better?
It does for me. This is Amadou, but I think
Okay.
it may not work for many people.
Yeah.
Maybe we should try a weekday in the evening. I don't know. I'm just, yeah. Saturdays, yeah. It's hard to commit on Saturdays. Yeah. Football
Exactly.
game, yeah.
And, you know, and the other thing is, I definitely want, you know, everybody to, you know, I don't feel comfortable saying, okay, Mondays at, you know, 8 o'clock. I definitely want it to be community approved. So, you know, I guess we could send out an email that's, you know, asks what day is better and just figure it out from there. I don't know if Miss Bertha, did you hear me?
Yes, I did.
Okay.
Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can.
Actually did it right. A+ for me.
Yes.
No, really, Saturdays is okay really for me. Saturdays.
Okay.
I mean, unless something comes up, I'm going out of town or whatever, but normally, actually any day, you know, but Saturdays is okay.
Okay.
Yeah.
And Miss Dennis,
Yeah.
what about you? Denise, I'm sorry. What about you?
Any day is fine with me. I'm available any day.
So do you think, do you know from talking to anybody else if there's a better, you know, another day?
No, pretty much just my dad has been interested in it, but he's 76. That's how old is he? 78. So he doesn't know about Zoom. He doesn't know how he feels about it. So he likes to watch the recordings because I guess he doesn't like people staring at him. So,
but he has watched the recording, so that's good. Good.
Yeah. So I mean, he's very interested into hearing it. He's just shy with technology. Yeah. So
definitely understand that.
That's a hard one. But other than that, I think just him and I are the only ones that are really wanting to know right now. A lot of people don't know, you know, the gist of this language because our grandparents are, you know, my age group, my cousin peer group. It's the grandparents that spoke this language.
Spoke it, yeah.
Right. And not everyone had a good opportunity to spend time with the grandparents as much as, you know, different cousins have and different cousins hadn't. So it makes
it your parents didn't want to share it either.
Yeah.
Well, because they were made fun of. I mean, that's basically what it boils down to. And that's why they don't speak Spanish either, those who are born in Mexico. And that's why my generation doesn't speak Spanish fluently.
Exactly.
Because they were made to feel like they were doing something wrong and they didn't want their children to have to bear that burden.
Mm-hmm.
And
so did you hear much Seminole growing up?
I did from my grandmother. We spent summers with her, right? But me and my sister, because we were older, not my brothers, because they're younger, had no. So it's like hit and miss because we were on the younger cousin side that our older cousins know a lot more and speak a lot more. So, I mean, like I said, we try to engage as the people we can. We just had a family reunion, so a lot of people are interested. They want to know more. It's just how do you present it and give it to them at the time when they're ready. So
that's true.
Denise, can you rope them in?
Oh yeah, definitely. It's just that the time frame. Because we try to do family meetings also, and it doesn't matter what day. You hit and miss everyone. You'll never please everybody. So the recordings are a great thing, so they can go back and look at it at their own time. Perfect. Love that. I try to get as many other of my cousins involved, wanting to jump on here and speak. I'll definitely actively be asking them and pushing it.
And well, you know what? I think I should explain to you. Well, really for me, on my end, why it's important. Part of the thing that really helped us to spur this on was we received a grant for $2,000 to start our language revitalization. And in writing the proposal, we said that we would work on this, like we would get back to them within a year. So the grant is for 1 year. And in that time, we will have to like check in with them and let them know how progress is going. And the end goal is to have at least 20 people, not necessarily fluent in the language, but committed to learning the language. And so, one of the metrics of that are the Zoom sessions and having at least 20 people on the Zoom sessions. And, and maybe I should, write this and let everybody know that it's great to listen to the recordings, but the metric of who's actually participating in it is really important. And so I think we have like 6 people on the call now. But then we could go through the recording and that actual 20 people that we need could watch it. But that metric isn't clear because, these recordings will be watched by the committee at some point. And so hopefully they'll see the growth, but it would be great if we had a consistent group every time to show for this whole year that we have like 20 people committed. Okay. So yeah, that's kind of the metric that we need to show, this group that gave us this money.
Okay. Well, I'll definitely pass it along to the rest of the family and see what I can do.
And I need to do it with my family too. It's everybody, because we all have
the family too.
Yeah, definitely. We all have big families, and everybody definitely is interested. So I think we just need to work with everybody more in their schedule.
And so let's make 2022 a big year.
Yeah. Yes,
definitely. I totally agree.
Is behind us. My God.
I know. And Mr. Fixico, what about you? How is this time working for you?
Oh, hi. The time is fine. I'm having some other issues. Right now, every minute, my computer, it goes out and comes in. It says my network bandwidth is low. But
and he just went out right now.
Okay.
Yeah.
I talked to him, so.
Okay.
Yeah. Okay.
Another thing. Oh, sorry.
Yeah, Amadou.
Yeah, I was going to say another thing we could consider is probably having more mini lectures, if you will, via email, because we have a large email group already, 53 people, I heard you say. So if we can have some conversations with those 53 people, I mean, not everyone will speak back, but that's also another way to show that we have a community of, people who are learning Afro-Seminole.
Very true. Yeah.
And I don't mind asking questions in the big forum. I mean, I don't know. I mean, like I have questions for grammar questions now for Dr. Hancock here. For example, well, I don't want to get off the track. Let's finish this.
No, you're fine.
Okay. I think I heard you say, Dr. Hancock, that Afro-Seminoles doesn't have tenses. I may have misheard.
It has tenses, which are expressed in its own way, like any language.
Okay.
But what I was trying to emphasize was that with the grammars of Creole languages, you have to look not only when you're talking about the verbs, not only with the tense of the action, which is past, present, future, but the nature of the action, how the action occurred. So is it something that you did once? Is it something that you're steady doing right now? Is it something that you've completely finished doing? Those are not tenses, those are called aspects. And if we look at Seminole grammar, we can break it down very easily, just like Creole grammar. the tense markers would be been for the past tense and en for the future tense. And those are tense. They just talk about when. The aspects are de or de in Seminole, which means it's happening now, or done, which means it's over with. And those are not to do with tenses, but with how. For example, I could say, a en done de duum, which means I will have done it. Doesn't mean it's already done because it hasn't happened yet, because I put it in the future with en. So separate tense and aspect in Creole grammar, and you'll be okay. That's how it works.
Okay. So here's another question for you. This is not necessarily grammar, but more with regard to the community. Have you ever tried before, sir, to teach this class via email?
Me?
Yes.
No. 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 No.
Yeah.
No.
Okay.
My relationship with the people in the language is complicated. I'm obviously an outsider, but I was blessed to be taught the language by a small group of people who are no longer with us. And I'm very, very much aware of the fact that I'm not a Seminole, but I know this. And it reminds me a little bit of another Black Indian population called the Garifuna. Have you heard of them? They live
I know some people that are, yeah.
Now, the Garifuna people are genetically Black, like Seminoles, but ethnically, they're Native American. And they lived in the Eastern Caribbean when they were Africans brought over, and they hooked up with the native Indians and learned the Carib Indian language. And then there was some terrible disaster in, I guess it was St. Vincent, one of them islands. And they all had to move over to Central America, to Belize, which is on the southern end of Mexico. The Indians who spoke Carib were all gone, but the people who speak it, the Indian language, are still there, but they're of African ancestry. So here you've got a Black population genetically, but a population that's Native American ethnically. And to an extent, not 100%, but to a large extent, the Afro-Seminoles are exactly that, Negro Indian Scouts. That's the official label. So I forget where I was going with this, but the language is still there. It's written down at least. I know that there are some recordings of it. The one that's on YouTube is terrible. It's not Seminole. I know that some of y'all folks on the East Coast have got recordings which they are going to share with us of old people telling stories. And this is the way we're going to have to go, really, is go through stories. I will include some stories in East Coast Gullah, which is very similar to Seminole. It's not identical. And years ago, when I first got to know y'all, I brought some of those stories and played them. And what the Seminoles said, well, it sounds like they're trying to speak Seminole, but they're not getting it quite right. But it's as close as we're going to get. And what I would like, this is just a suggestion, but Amadou, can we get more of the Gullah folks at least listening in?
Yes, I think so. We have.
It's a shared history.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yeah, we can.
Then they shape our history.
Indeed. Indeed.
All right. Well, lots to think about.
You know,
So
I do
what
have,
Sorry,
I'm
go
sorry.
ahead.
You know, something that I've been following on Instagram, I don't know if I talked to you about this, Dr. Ian, but there is this, I think it's like a brother and sister on Instagram who are modernizing Gullah, but they call themselves Geechee. So they're like in their 20s and and yeah, I don't think I've talked to you about this. So they're saying that there's Gullah, which is like the old way of speaking, and Geechee, which is like the new way of speaking Old Gullah. So they have like modernized it in a way, but they are so popular. It's amazing. And they are sort of relearning and teaching people who are in the diaspora but can't get to South Carolina. They're exposing them to Gullah. It's sort of like Gullah for millennials in a way. And it's just a really interesting movement. They were on, and I'll send you this, they were on a cooking show on what was it? On Hulu. And they were speaking about, you know, this modernization that's happening. And just from your face, but I didn't know if you had heard about that.
This is up there with Queen Quet, okay?
Well, actually, they are competitors with her. They're not fans
good,
of her.
Good, okay. Nevertheless,
they have a new flag and everything.
Nevertheless, this is something that I deal with in my other life, my Romani life, where people are trying to modernize our culture, which means diluting it, actually.
Yeah.
There's two sides to this. Okay. There's no doubt, not with Seminoles, because Seminole is gone. But with Gullah hasn't gone, but it is gradually getting diluted out of existence and turning into English.
So it's more English-esque now.
Oh yes, oh yes.
Yeah.
In order to see the similarities between Seminole and Gullah, you have to read the texts from the late 1800s of Gullah.
Wow.
So if you've got young people who are Gullahs, I would take issue with their statement that the modern Gullah is called Geechee. Real Gullahs would seriously disagree, because Gullah is more of a Georgia word, or no, I forget which way. There's South Carolina word, and Geechee is more of a South Carolina word or Georgia word. It's a state-based thing. It's based on who was brought from where and when. And for that matter, the word Geechee is used in Louisiana. Did you know that?
No.
For talking really flat, it's called Geechee. But to say that modern Gullah is called Geechee is something that I would want spokespersons from the Gullah community to say we agree or disagree. I'm not going to say, but check that out. what they're trying to do is admirable because they want to perpetuate something that's in danger of being lost, just like we are.
Yeah, definitely.
But a little knowledge is a dangerous thing.
Mhm.
Okay.
Yeah.
So I do know that, in South Carolina, they're Golas. In Georgia, they're Geechees.
Yeah.
Okay, Gullah,
But that's what I was trying to say.
Georgia,
Yeah.
Geechee.
But the most appropriate term today is Gola Geechee
With a hyphen.
Yeah.
with a hyphen.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah. Yeah. It's not an old and modern distinction. It's a geographical distinction.
Right.
Okay. 9 done. I'm going to get out of here and I'm going to jump in the pool.
Oh.
I figured.
And if y'all were here with me, you could jump in the pool with me. So I'm just going to say ta-ta.
Well, thank you.
Bye-bye.
And enjoy.
Bye.
Thanks, everybody. Bye-bye.
Thank you. Bye.